Welcome back to your safe place, kids. So we're gonna jump right on into the story today, entitled "I Love Him and I Hate Him. He Changed, but So Did I." My husband and I have been together for 6 years. I know I love him, have a lot of love for him, and it hurts every time I think about separation or divorce. My husband and I had met through a mutual friend, and during that time he was still living life as a lesbian woman. We became roommates and throughout that time became sexually involved. By the way, I am a cis woman. He later expressed wanting to be exclusive, and I was into him, so we did. He had not come out to me yet, and we pursued a lesbian relationship. From the get-go, he had an obvious alcohol problem. He also didn't have primary custody of his child, and every time he drank, he would get emotionally upset, cry, punch walls, and talk about a lot of self-hate, which I didn't like. I had just become sober, and my mental health was finally under control. However, I grew up not having any emotional support, so in turn, I wanted to support him, so I stayed. He came out to me a couple months into our official relationship, which was about 6 months in, and I won't lie, I was devastated. It took me a long time to come to terms with the fact I was a lesbian woman, and I felt cheated and confused. He told me about all the struggles he grew up with, knowing he was always a man and coming out to his parents as a trans man. That only met him with daily beatings and abuse. I felt horrible for him. I loved him already. I wanted to be his support. So again, I stayed. So a couple months go by. He wants to move closer to his child, so he asked me to come along, and we moved to his hometown. I left my apartment, my steady job, and my friends to move with him and wanted to help him regain a place in his child's life. He immediately threw me into the care of his child, and this was a hard transition for me. I had never been a parent, and I was 23, so I'm quite young at the time. I couldn't find a job, and we shared a car, and nobody was hiring in my field, so I went to work for his parents. And they treated me like crap, a lot of daily humiliation, but yet again, I stayed. His family disliked me automatically. His child disliked me automatically, and so did his friends. I was never a party goer or an extrovert, and they seemed to take that personally. I tried my damnedest to get them to like me to no avail, and again, he'd drink and started getting verbally abusive towards me. He'd say I was the cause of his family's problems, that I wasn't trying hard enough to be a good mom, and I still stayed. A male relative of his, as well as male family friends, started harassing me. And by harassing me, I mean saying explicit sexual things, trying to grope me, and trying to hug me without consent. I shared these concerns with him, and he brushed me off. One drunken night at a family party, I was sober. My husband, including his family, accused me of being a liar and taking things out of context. My husband yelled in front of everyone that he was tired of me poisoning his head with evil things about his family. I promise, I never said anything that wasn't true. And that night I cried so much my head throbbed and I was literally backed into a corner. This wouldn't be the first or the last time he did this. It eventually escalated to him choking me and yanking me by my hair on several occasions. The verbal abuse and violent arguments were a weekly thing, to which he always apologized, cried, said he hated himself, and I forgave him. He asked to have a kid with me. He begged and pleaded. I thought this would help him fill the void his child had left, so I agreed. I know, I'm stupid. Please don't judge me too hard. We got a known donor, went to a clinic, and were successful on the first try. We were elated, and for a while very happy. I got incredibly ill while pregnant, and he spent most of his days at work, his parents' house, and with his first child. I fell into a deep depression. I contemplated taking myself out daily. The love for my child was the only thing that saved me. Fast forward, my husband started sobering up and regained full custody of his child, and unfortunately his child and I still don't get along. They're basically a mini version of my mother-in-law. I mean, this kid has made me cry on multiple occasions, and I don't know how to get them to respect me. His child doesn't mean to our child, but sometimes they do express how it isn't fair that our child gets more attention. But our child is small, only a year old. Of course they're going to require more attention. I tried to take his child out for a long time with me and my husband, but it still isn't enough. Somehow, I'm the bad guy. I have no friends in the area, no job, and I'm now a stay-at-home mom. My finances are completely dependent on my husband. My husband has changed. He doesn't drink, cheat, or abuse me anymore, but I am undeniably scarred, and I resent him so much. I resent moving here, losing all sense of who I am, bringing an innocent child into the world when I didn't want kids of my own to begin with. I resent being dependent on someone. I resent his family's unearned hate towards me. I resent always being compared to his ex by his friends, and I even resent having to become his child's primary guardian from the start. I hate myself the most for staying the very first time he made me cry. I mean, he has changed. He says he doesn't remember most of the abuse since he was usually drunk. My husband tries to apologize and make amends and expresses he wishes he could take back everything wrong he ever did. And I can tell he's sorry. He has proven in the last year he can change. However, I feel fed up. We are physically intimate and it's great, but that's it. We don't ever have a date night. He never pursued me. I was always just there. I feel like I'm married to a stranger that's now a great roommate. I mean, he's amazing with our child and with his. Would therapy fix this? Am I just blind and stupid? Can abusers change? Will I always resent him for everything he did to me? He's an amazing dad. Could he really be an amazing husband too? Sorry for the long post. I think mainly I needed to say this out loud in a way. And for clarification, he lost custody because he was a teen parent and gave the kid up willingly to his parents. Alright, OP, I'm gonna be honest. I am hardcore judging you for some of the same questions that you have. Bringing a kid into the world as a way to fix your marriage was a horrible decision and just so ridiculously wrong. It's one thing if getting pregnant was an accident, but you went through a different process with many times you could have backed out during it. In-laws and inherited family members is kinda whatever. Sometimes you wind up marrying into a shitty family. However, with your husband's first child, your attitude is really jacked up. Kids are kids, and we're the adults. It's up to us as the adults to figure out how to deal with these situations, not the child. And it most certainly is not the kid's fault. Take your ass to therapy, and don't look for an easy way out, because nothing worth doing is ever freaking easy. You're right, by the way, you should have left when the abuse first happened, but you didn't. And it seems things have changed quite for the better, but your bitterness is your own damn fault, and you really need to work this out now instead of creating yet another broken home. Get some professional help and start pounding pavement to take control of your life. And by the way, there's no chance in hell I believe you can't find a job, because with this lovely pandemic thing we got going on, there's a ridiculous amount of jobs that have moved to online, and even then there's the jobs that'll take everyone, like the ride-sharing services. You can be taxiing people around or delivering people's food or whatever. There's answers out there. All you gotta do is find them, and I hope you do, OP. I appreciate everyone hanging out for story time with Safe today. If you like the story and want more, hit them like and sub buttons to make this your safe place, and I'll catch you in the next one.